All right, and on our socials, we ask you what life lessons have impacted you the most about the late Bob Collymore. What life lessons have impacted you the most about the late Bob Collymore? Speak to us at KTN News, KE_Keep Kimbo. The hashtag is KTN Business. I shall be sampling your views later on. Now, in celebration of a life well lived, family, friends and Kenyans at large gathered at All Saints Cathedral for Bob Collymore's memorial service. His wife, Wambui Collymore, had this to say.
First, stand up for what you believe in. Speak out when you think something is not fair. Be considerate to those around you, especially for who and what is smaller than you. Because a person's a person, no matter how small.
Still, Bob Collymore had a close-knit circle of confidence and friends. One of them is Joshua Igara, the Group Chief Executive Officer of Kenya Commercial Bank Group. Joshua Igara shared of his life and times, and this is how he eulogized his friend.
He spent the later years of his life trying to make sure other people never had the experience with the same limitations. By leveraging the power of partnerships, Bob motivated his peers to make a more active stand on building partnerships, building responsible businesses, and sustaining a global outlook and transform lives. And Bob really understood the business community was a key catalyst to fast-track inclusion, and the global goals, as we know them as Sustainable Development Goals, are the most effective lens that could enable businesses to see inequalities and business opportunities. Bob held significant global roles, both at the United Nations level, as an ambassador, as a leadership advisor, as a commissioner, and he was a member locally at the Vision 2030, a founding trustee of the National Road Road Safety Trust. He was a founder of the Kenya for Kenyans, and he was spearheading initiatives through the Diabetic Management Institute. He was decorated by His Excellency the President as a Moran with a burning spear for his efforts to support Kenyan society. And all through his career, Bob's affinity for the arts and music never left him.
Now, in 2010, Bob Collymore took over as CEO of Safaricom, but the man he was replacing would end up being one of his friends and mentor, Michael Joseph. And Michael Joseph gave an emotional eulogy today at the memorial service at All Saints Cathedral.
Bob and I will ignore his instructions of just read the bloody poem and say a few more words. He will probably be upset, but he would do the same to me. Much has already been said about Bob, and much more will be said here today. I have, even with his encouragement, started writing my book about my life and Safaricom, and have so far written only one chapter. I called it Chapter 33, and I called it Bob. One day you may read it. But what I would like to say here today in the presence of all of you is that Bob was the bravest man I ever met. He faced the indignities of months of injections, blood transfusions, chemotherapy, constant tests and examinations, pain, and in the end death, with an enormous sense of humor and resilience. I'm sure many of you knew that about him. He was so considerate and concerned about his family, his team, and even his doctors. He did not want anyone to worry about him. He wanted to worry about everybody else. Over the last 15 years, I went from being amused by this white man in a black body, pretending to be a very serious corporate person, to really becoming a serious corporate leader, to the only man whom I loved. And desperately wanted to live forever. Excuse me. But somehow, God had other plans. Farewell, my friend, and God rest your soul. Thank you.
Meanwhile, business was at a standstill at all Safaricom shops in the country, which were closed from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. in honor of the Safaricom CEO, Bob Collymore, who died earlier this week. This decision was made to give the staff a chance to attend the memorial service, which took place at All Saints Cathedral.
I've come all the way from Kirinyaga to come and get services as usual, but I found the shop closed.
I feel like it's a very good gesture to respect the burial ceremony of the CEO, which I believe that he has been an epitome figure to not only the staff of Safaricom but to the whole nation.
Bob Collymore alikuwa mtu mzuri. He was our CEO. Na respect that decision kwamba wanaweza funga waende kumon, staff waende kumon na watu wengine pia, alafu warudi maybe watushughulikie.